So I want to have 1/4 of an inch on the edges here to hang on. So I'm going to mark in 1/4 of an inch on each side here. So I'm going to come from this edge here, I'll mark 1/4 inch. And you can see what we're keeping here. That line hopefully is visible to you. I put a pencil to it so it'd be more visible. And right here is my 1/4 inch. Okay. I also want to find the center of this because I want my middle tail to be on the center. I'm going to do 3 tails on this because I like having 2 wider ones and a small one in the middle. So I'm going to set this up. It's just under 3.5, so I'll even the sides over there. I'll put 1 3/4. So that's our center line. Extend that out through. Okay. So now remember, they want to flare out to the outside there. So I'm going to come in from that 1/4 inch line. I'm going to draw that part of the tail and that part of the tail. Okay. I'm going to have the back side of the tails here be 3/4 of an inch. I'm using my chisel because this is what I want to be using to cut it out. So I want to make sure I have a nice accurate line there. So now I'll mark the remainder of those tails. So come over here, bring that to there. If I'm not dead on what my chisel is, I want to be just a hair over. I don't want to be under, that I'm cutting into areas that I want to keep. So now, if you look at that, we have 2 tails marked on here. There and there. Now I want to have one in the middle yet too. So my smallest chisel is a 1/4 inch chisel, so I'm going to come to my center line. I'm going to mark 1/8 of an inch that way and 1/8 of an inch that way, so that my 1/4 inch chisel will fit in that area there. Okay? Let me just grab that chisel here, show you that fit. So 1/4 inch chisel right between those. Okay, so I'll make sure I stay to my outside of my line, so I have plenty of room here. So I'm going to go here and here. Okay. So now I want it for visual reference, and this is something that people who do dovetails every day don't need to do, but I don't do dovetails every day, so I do need to do this. I want to mark the cut straight down here. So I'm going to take my square, I'm going to lift my board up a little bit so my square doesn't bottom out, and I just want to draw lines where those come to the edges there. I have those coming from them, and I'll do the same thing over here. Okay? So now, on this, we now know what has to be taken out there. We don't know how far back it has to go. So think again what's happening here. This is the front of our drawer, labeled front. Our side's going to go in there, and they want to come so that they fit nice and flush with that. So my marking gauge has to be set to the exact thickness of this board here for that backside cut. So I'll go ahead and loosen up my adjustments. I'll tighten the back one. And so now I have that set to the thickness of my material. And I can go ahead and just cut that on the back side. So here's my markings. This is the back side. So that's where I'm going to be cutting that line there. And I don't have to go all the way to the ends. I'm just cutting the dovetails out. So on this corner right here that I'm looking at, I am removing that section, that section, that section, that section, that section, and that section. And that's what has to be cut out. Now this requires a little bit of experience cutting these out here, because you got to be pretty good with the handsaw here. So I'm going to use my Japanese handsaw to cut some of these out here. And it's not like, I know Lauren and some other people have done dovetails on other projects I'm not cutting straight across this thing and going down through. This front has to be salvaged. It has to be that I don't have any cuts going through it. So it's going to be kind of weird because my saw blade is going to come down further than what this is. And let's see if we can see that that's the case on the one that they did here. So they put these dividers in as a secondary thing. Someone who owned it then afterwards had to do that. But if we look at the insides of this, can you see those cut lines there? Those cut lines were produced by exactly what I'm going to show you right now. Open my drawer and see if I can get you guys at a good angle here to watch this. So I'll cut this one here because that's going to be more visible for you. Okay. So I don't have my tails cut yet, so I'm just trying to stay inside my lines and make this cut. Get my angle and then come straight down. So you can see now that I was only supposed to come to this line right here. That's the thickness of my material that's going into this thing. But my cut mark went way past that, right? And that's that I've cut deeper into this dovetail area in the area that we don't see, so it's easier for me to chisel out. Okay? So I'm going to finish up all those angle cuts, and I'll go ahead and do the other side angle too. There. So whenever I'm doing this, I like to state these three first, and then the next ones, because then it's muscle memory. So cut my angle, and then I'm going to come down straight down through. Okay, one more. Okay, so now I'm going to turn you off when I do the other side here, and you'll rejoin me once I have this ready to be chiseled out.